Hello, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Candlestick, and this is Pardon Me. I'm really happy with the pun. um, and today I'm going to be playing my twins, Ellie and Layla Thomas, who well, it should be a good time. Catch up with someone they haven't seen in a while. Speaking of which, I am joined by the very lovely and I'm very happy to be able to play it in this FPS because I had a lot of fun in the game that we played together. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm the mighty Quinn. I also go by just Quinn or Rosie. I am very congested at the moment and also have a lot of cold medication in my system. So I'm just happy to be doing anything that's just plain old fun other than being at home and being sick.
Oh.
Um, I am playing my kitty cat, Caitlin, who technically is supposed to be in game limbo at the moment because what should have been a one shot went out longer because of an item that I did not know would go that horribly wrong.
Oof.
It was hilarious and wonderful, but it completely changed the genre of the game that we were playing. But
Oh dear. Oh, that's alright. We can say that this takes place before all of that happens. I mean, it probably makes sense for this to have happened a little bit closer to the game that we ended up playing in a while ago
yeah,
that life just sort of came in the way of.
yeah, definitely before because she's had some pretty epic, or rather, some pretty sideways turns in the past couple games she's been in. So this would probably definitely be before then when she is still getting the hang of being an EGAD.
Fair enough, fair enough. So has Caitlin been around the treehouse much yet?
She's probably done a few loops, but she still doesn't quite know it that well. Part of it is just that she's lived very far away somewhere else, and this is a totally new area. So a lot of her scoping around has probably been around the town itself as opposed to
Mm.
EGAD,
Yep, yep.
trying to figure out where all the important things are, like where the post office is, so she can send letters home and such.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, that would make sense. Like practicality first kind of mentality.
Yep. Trying to nail down where all the grocery stores are, as well as where to get, stuff in case your clothes rip, because that's something you need to be able to have on hand. And yes, tunes
Ah.
can handwave a lot of that, but sometimes it's good to just know where to find it.
Yeah, it does depend on the tune too. Like some tunes can just fix it by like a wardrobe change or a scene change. Some tunes are like, no, it will stay there until I physically fix it.
Exactly, exactly.
But yeah, so today you find yourself at the treehouse. Do you any particular reason or just because she has a bit of downtime?
Um, I believe there's what would amount to a library at the treehouse,
I'm
and
pretty
she
sure there
actually
is.
quite enjoys reading just for the fun of reading.
Wonderful. All
So
right.
she's despite being a cat, she's probably squirreled herself away in a corner with a few interesting reads and has decided to just settle down and give her brain a break from all of her assigned tasks and just read for fun. She's probably got a book series that she's been meaning to read for a while that's on a little stack on a little table next to her with her tail curled around her, and she's just settled down to today is a reading day.
Oh, that's really cute. Um, do you want to roll me a perception, and I can roll a perception as well. See if anyone notices anyone else. Yeah.
I still love that despite being a cat, this little gal's perception is a whopping zero. It's a straight D20 for her. 10. She's absorbed in her book.
That's fair
She may
enough.
have acknowledged that there is someone there, but her nose is in her book.
I've got to roll this twice. That's the first girl, which makes sense because that's Layla, and quite like Caitlin, she has come to the library because she likes to read and she doesn't want to be around other people. And this is like a quiet zone. That might
It's
be the
probably
wrong.
like the one room in the treehouse that has a no loud noises rule,
Yeah,
other than maybe the bedrooms.
that's Ellie,
I
who
think,
is not really much of a reader.
yeah, I think because Caitlin is not intentionally trying to hide, what ends up happening is that she's picked a quiet corner for reading, and Layla, right? Leela?
uh, Layla, yeah,
Layla probably picked the same corner. And it's Ellie who's noticed that, oh, hey, there's another person here.
yeah. Ellie, who has a book in front of her and is like, and is like, then looks around and is like, oh, there's someone else here. And so, yep. Sorry, Caitlin, you're not getting much time to read. I'm afraid because Ellie has recognized you. And I think she's just gonna be like, um, probably like just sort of like bounce over and just oh hi, it's Caitlin, right? We went on that adventure together.
There's an ear flick, and then she blinks and lifts her head up and stares at Ellie for a moment before it registers that, oh, shoot, I can't do the voice. I'm gonna
It's
have to talk
okay.
regular for that. I cannot
That's
hit the
fine.
pitch.
That's fine.
Hello. Um, yes, yes. You're Ellie, correct?
Yep. Ellie and it's Layla with her head in the book. Don't be rude, Layla. She's just gonna just put her head up and just give Ellie an annoyed look, like I don't want to.
Caitlin's I think Layla probably also notices the small stack of books by Caitlin too.
Yeah, I think actually Layla might say, "Leave her alone. She's trying to read, Ellie."
It's not a problem. Sometimes this is just a series that I've been meaning to pick back up on ever since I moved. Um, Actually, I've been meaning to find you to ask how you've been. Things didn't really end sunnily last time, and I kept forgetting to check in. Are you all right?
All right. I'm sorry. I have to do this. I have to roll.
Is it deception? Are they going
Yeah,
to try and lie to the kitty cat?
maybe.
There's going to be a counter roll.
Fair enough. That's completely fair. God, why is your modifier that? Oh
Oh,
wow.
wait, hold on. Why did you do that? That's not correct. It rolled the d20 twice. Why did you do that?
I have no idea.
Well, we'll take the first one, the
Yeah, the
14, and
14.
add the 3.
Yep.
14 plus 3 is 14. 17. 17 is enough.
I don't know if that's going to be enough because that was a 20 and an 18.
Dirty 20 and 18.
Yep. Oh
I
God.
think it at most it's enough for her to get the faint feeling that there is something. Maybe it's just discomfort of being reminded of it, but other than that, they seem okay, physically at least. There's
Yeah.
no obvious clinging.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think Ellie would have said, oh yeah, no, we're fine. Kind of thing, but like, that's maybe not, like, you can't, it seems true, but also, is it? That was not exactly a great situation, even if it's like, these are still teenagers. That's not something that you should just be fine with.
Yeah. Logically, she can puzzle out that they're probably not as okay as they say they are.
Yeah.
If she just looks at it purely from outsider logic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't tell if they're lying, but outsider logic says probably.
Yeah, Caitlin just slowly nods and says, if you're sure. If not, um, you're welcome to talk to me. Even if it's just to plan ways to make sure it can't happen again.
Hmm, they might share a look, and then Ellie's gonna turn back and, you think there's a way to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, with the right spells and items, if you could find them, there'd be a way to have something in place. If it's some kind of enchantment, I know I'm reasonably certain you can look for items and tokens that can either be made or purchased to defend against it, or at least make the wearer more resistant. I think resistant is the word I'm looking for.
Hmm, that, hmm, that would probably help, I think.
Yes, I can't quite think of them off the top of my head, but she pauses and looks around the library. Considering the reference material here, it shouldn't be too hard to find something.
You could tell, like, that Layla sort of pecks up at that, like, oh yeah, that's an idea, kind of thing, and Ellie's just like, uh, reading, research.
Yeah, she smiles a bit and kind of nods and goes, well, even if you don't want to do the research yourself, I'm sure there's plenty of other people who are more experienced who might at least be able to help narrow down your search. That tended to be how it was when I was back home. I would go to one of the wizards or the alchemists or or people of that sort and ask if they knew that kind of thing, because usually there'd be at least someone who could point you in the right direction.
Oh, that sounds really cool. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from a town called Nelfley. You probably haven't heard of it.
Can I roll a history?
Yes, you may. And if any, what are their classes, if I may ask?
Ellie is a paladin and Layla is a warlock.
Okay, Layla, I'm going to give advantage on that one.
Alright, cool. Why? Why you? Why did you roll that? Sorry, I'm just, I roll for them, and then okay, that's also. I'm just. Oh,
Is it funny high or funny low?
funny high.
Oh, delightful. Tell me the numbers. Oh, I love being able to
Uh,
crank out.
that's Ellie's.
Oh, fantastic.
And that was
Oh,
Layla's.
beautiful. Oh, beautiful.
So I think we might
Okay.
have heard of the place before.
Yeah, yeah, you have. I would have given it if it was like 16, but not. Neffley is a town to the southwest, I think, of the treehouse. It's near the Ducktail Peninsula. It is a town that is broadly speaking not very well known, except in the circles of magical research because of a giant tree that they call the Yggdrasil tree, which is so steeped in magic it has basically mutated the immediate waters and chunks of island that the tree grows out of in their saltwater bay.
Wow, that's
And
really cool.
yeah, and it's huge in terms of magical research just because there's so much going on there. And any item that you get from there is so steeped in magic that you can make very powerful magical potions and artifacts from it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, it might make sense why they know about this because their dad is a like a historical researcher. Like that's how
Well,
he
there's a bit more.
that's how he knows Ollie.
Roughly, yeah, roughly, I think at this point in time it would be 2.5 years ago, almost three, a labyrinth that was very, very old was discovered by accident underneath the cliff sides of the town. And it was discovered, unfortunately, with the death of a town member whose name was, out of courtesy, left out of the papers. But the labyrinth was huge, and a lot of adventurers and such have been flocking to the town since its discovery to basically figure out what's going on with that, which is very much up Egad's alley, which may be the
Yeah.
other reason they know about it.
Oh yeah, that definitely would help out in that case because yeah, like I said, their dad is a historical a historical researcher, so archaeologist kind of thing, and he specializes in like lost cultures and things like that.
Oh yeah, then Nephili would definitely be on their radar.
They probably heard their dad just being like going on about it for like a month straight and like organizing when can I go kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you've heard of it. You've heard of it.
Oh wow, that's the place with the tree, right?
And Caitlin actually looks surprised at that and goes, "Yes, yes, it is."
Mm. Our dad wants to go there. He's nuts about ruins and cultures and all that sort of stuff. So he he was very excited with the stuff they found there recently. Somewhat recently, I think.
Yes, yes, that would make sense. A lot of people have been flocking there. It's it's definitely spiked up interest. And if either of them would like to roll insight, now would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. All right. Uh, that'll definitely be a no from Ellie, but Layla might get it.
She might. She might. Oh yeah, she gets it. Um, there is a kind of conflicted tinge to the way Caitlin says that. It's like on one hand she's kind of happy her town's getting noticed. People are paying attention to it. But there's also something kind of sad about it. Like, but that makes sense because one of the things that Layla probably remembers is that one of the reasons those ruins were discovered was because someone who lived in the town died. So that could have a hand in it. Maybe she
Yeah.
knew them, and that's one of the reasons she's a little sad about it.
Yeah, yeah. And just also like change as well, like because that would be a big change to have happen in your town. Whether like that would probably be a neutral, I don't know whether what I feel about it all, but like then yeah, that added on top of the oh, there was someone who actually, it was still a tragedy as well, and that sort of can get lost under the discovery of something new.
Yeah. And then I'm going to give you this because she probably had mentioned it. I think she mentioned it in the game is that uh, Caitlin works for a merchants guild in town. So business is good. It is good to have business coming into your town. It's just kind of unfortunate what also happened.
Yeah, I think like Ellie looks like really excited about this topic, but I think Layla's gonna like tilt her head a little bit and butt in before her sister can. The how have you been coping with the changes?
And Caitlin kind of pauses at that again. She takes in a breath, holds it for a moment, and says, "I've been I've been handling it as best I can. Um, the guild that I work for, the Nephilim Merchants Guild, has been doing a lot of good business, but I decided I needed to go out and, despite not having any, I needed to stretch my wings a bit, which is one of the reasons I came here."
That's, I mean, that's pretty cool. I think Ellie is a little bit lost. Like, did I miss something? Like, it's obvious. Like, she can tell that there's something going over her head, but she doesn't know what it is. So that sort of dampened her enthusiasm a little bit, and then she just perks up again in the. You've been enjoying yourself here, though, right? Like, it's pretty cool, and we get to go all over the place.
Yes, it's certainly much more exciting than I anticipated, but so far I've been enjoying myself quite a lot. There's a lot of nice people around here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and it's been pretty cool, and it's just Ellie just kind of like makes like grabby hands like I can't find the words for how cool everything here is.
Caitlin just nods and says, "It's just the most."
Yeah, like like Madla, you remember him? Did you know he has a giant stag beetle?
Yeah, yeah, I've met his stag beetle. It's quite impressive.
And it can climb the walls all the way to the top.
Yeah, well, stag beetles have very good grip.
Hmm. Sometimes I wish I was a stag beetle. That would be cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to think of things like that, but I'm quite content being a cat personally.
You can sort of tell from Layla's face that, yeah, she does not want to be a stag beetle, thank you very much. um,
Yeah,
but
Caitlin is very much amused. It's definitely that almost adult, entertaining, wild thoughts just for the fun of it.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Huh, that is kind of a cool idea, kind of thing. But also, I'm happy it's not case.
Yeah. She's comfortable enough in herself where fantasizing about things like that is purely just a silly fantasy to make yourself smile.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think Ellie has sort of like kept rambling on this tangent though, like the probably has actually changed track a little bit, being like, oh yeah, being a cat would be really cool too. Like having claws and being able to scratch people and 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 probably has just gone on a tangent of like how cool it would be to be different things.
Yeah. Caitlin's just kind of nodding along, like she isn't big on conversation, but she's at least at the moment she's not huge on conversation, so she's just fine being the bobblehead.
Oh, don't worry. Ellie can keep going for as long as you need her to. You can tell from like the roll of Layla's eyes that this is pretty common, and if you want her to stop, you might have to say something.
Problem is, I'm not sure what Caitlin would say now. I feel like we hit both bases. I
uh,
think. Yeah, I think. I guess I can ask that. If I may ask, and she kind of cuts in very gently, like she waits for just long enough of a pause and pause for breath.
yeah, Ellie doesn't mind. Like this is fine. Like she's okay with people interrupting her. Hmm?
What brings you to EGAT?
Oh, us? Well, I mean, um, adventuring really. Our parents like like we said, our dad works in archaeology, and mum goes with him sometimes too. But that's how they know Ollie. And they thought it sounded like a pretty good place to be able to learn to do adventuring that would still be, somewhat safe and supervised, and it's been really cool, and we get to go all sorts of places and learn about all sorts of stuff.
Oh, well, that's good. It's always good to get your first foot out with someone that you know you can trust.
Yeah, exactly. And we also get to help people, which is pretty cool.
Yes, that is good.
When I grow up, I want to be
So,
an adventurer.
well, that should be interesting. Is there any particular place you've always wanted to go?
Everywhere. There's just so much.
Yes, I can get that. I'm afraid I'm a little boring in that vein. I like travel. I don't mind it. It's just that I don't want to go too far from where I consider home, at least not forever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to leave my family forever. And and we wouldn't be alone, because it would be the two of us that we would go together places, and then we'd go on adventures, and we come back with stories, and because you want to see your friends and family.
Oh, I do. I do know that. Even if I know of a few friends who drive me batty every time I visit, despite being a cat.
Yeah, yeah, we get like that too. Though I'm pretty sure Layla would say that I'm the most annoying person she knows. She's just sort of like make the sort of like sticky tongue out face at her sister, who's just gonna like roll her eyes again with a smile.
Oh, well, as far as I've been able to tell, that's practically the in the job description of being a sibling. You always have to be the one to drive them battier than any other friend.
Yep, but wouldn't be the same without them.
Yeah. I can understand that. I don't really I don't really have very many siblings. At least none that I've met. I have a few people that I consider siblings and, Toon found family thing, but overall, I don't have very many.
I mean, a found family is still pretty cool. That's really common to see, and I think that's awesome. We we have a little brother as well. Um, it's kind of well, it's just us. You're welcome to roll an insight on that.
Why, I would not mind that at all. 5.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't get it.
Nope. Nope. There's the nothing wrong with her sort of stumbling over her words there.
There's just a calm nodding along. She says, "Yes, at the moment it is. It's just me too. My family is back in Nelfi, except for that annoying brother of mine that I mentioned. He's up in, I believe he's in Toontown at the moment. I could be wrong. It's been a while since he's written."
Ooh. Come on. Sorry, my Discord was lagging a little bit, and um, I was just like, oh, that's cool. Um, our family lives in Yeast. Have you ever been there?
No, I don't think I have. I have to admit, I didn't really do much traveling before coming to EGAD.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Most people don't travel a lot, don't do they?
No, they travel a bit. It's just usually it's about as far as you can get in a few days or by montage.
Yeah. Well, some people can get pretty far by montage.
Yeah, it also depends on how far they want to go. For some, they just want to do a quick day trip with their families, and for others, they want to go a bit farther.
Yeah, our family is like that. Cause yeah, dad has dad's work takes him all over Inkwell. So sometimes he goes by himself, and sometimes we come with him.
It's good. It's always good to spend time with your family.
Yeah, our dad's really cool. He gets so silly whenever he gets excited.
Well, it's always fun to be a little bit silly.
Yeah, our our brother our brother Kieran, he thinks that it's embarrassing.
Kieran, that's an interesting name.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a tilt there. And if you'd like, you can roll insight just for the fun of it to see if there's anything.
Fair enough. Well, that's come on. That's again going to be a no from Ellie because that's another 6, so that's another 9. Oh, Layla, that's also a 6, so that's an 8. That's going to be a no from both of them.
Ah, oh well. It was just a little thing. But yeah, she kind of tilts her head and she's nodding. It's just like more just you think it's just that she thinks it's an unusual name, and yeah, it is a little unusual. You don't hear Kieran very often as a name.
Yeah, I think she's like, it's Giblin. I think it means and I can't remember exactly. I think it's like Ravenhead or something like that is the meaning of the one that I've picked. I think it's spelt a little bit differently than a lot of others.
Hmm. I've heard a name a bit like that. I used to have a friend by the name of Kyrian. I don't quite remember what language it came from, but I think it meant from the shadows.
Ah, that's cool. Um, yeah. Um, the that definitely seems to amuse Ellie. A little bit. Um, and just did they live up to their name?
No, not that I could tell. Mama gave them that name because she found them in a little shadowy spot before taking them to the orphanage.
Hmm. And Ellie doesn't really know what to say to that because that's a that's a little bit of a um like is that a sensitive topic to touch? She doesn't quite know.
Well, based on the body language, no. It's more like idle comment. It's like, oh yeah, that was the name they had before Mama took them to the orphanage. Statement of fact. No emotional investment.
In that case, yeah, she's gonna pry. Ellie's the prying sort. Um, orphanage?
Oh, well, yes. My my found family brother and my well, Kieran was a found family brother too. They both lived in the local orphanage. My family wasn't, but Mama Tia, the one who ran it, was a very pleasant sort. It wasn't uncommon for a number of parents to just let their kids come over and play, and that was how I knew them.
Huh. I've never heard of something like that before. That's so cool.
Mama Tia is was always very trustworthy, and the orphanage was just she kind of shrugs, always safe.
That yeah, that would be really cool. Use is a bit big for that. And it was just our family. Plus we
Sorry.
traveled all the time too. So that means that I got to meet lots of new people, but not really there wasn't really a lot of people that were the same.
I can understand that. I spent most of my life in Nephi with my family and with my found family and my friends. It was I think I went for a long time not thinking I'd ever leave, and then I got to be a grown up and said, I want to see what else is out there.
Hmm. I think again like the um I'm just I might roll a d2 see who gets in first. All right, no, unfortunately, Ellie gets in first. Layla had a bit of a comment on that, but Ellie is a motor mouth and is going to be running over the top of that. The yeah, I mean, there's so much to see in the world. Like, why wouldn't you want to come out and see it all? Well, I suppose there's a lot of people who don't, which is fine and it's good. And if you don't want to, that's fine. But there's so much to see everywhere, and it's so cool. and it's great fun, right?
It is most of the time, although every once in a while you run into a real stinker. But yeah, for the most part, it is fun.
Yeah, and that sort of dampens her a little bit. Like, yeah, because the mission that they went on together was a bit of a stinker, and yeah, like, yeah, I guess sometimes, yeah.
I guess if Layla wanted to get in her thing, this would be the moment to do it.
Yeah, yeah, I think while Ellie's like thinking about that, Layla's gonna ask, what are you, like, stops and thinks, what made you want to leave?
Oh, oh, that's going to be difficult. How do I plan your reaction for this one? There is a pause, and something flickers over Caitlin's face, and she says, "Um, well, hmm. Actually, can Layla roll me insight since she was the one who count? It was the one who asked this question. You can roll it for both, but Layla, I would say Layla is specifically looking for something. I would guess.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, cool. Discord lag. Yeah. Uh, she is because she's kind of curious because she's picked up that there's something more to this, um, and okay, she also kind of wants to pry a little bit, which is why she's
She just
asking.
wants to pry in a different way.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Ellie, I'm not going to bother rolling insight for because she's still currently, like, I think, hung up on the last topic of conversation. But I have rolled for Layla.
That was the thing I forgot to pull out for you. Well, I'm going to pull it out now while I'm thinking of it.
Alright, that's a 17. Not bad.
Wow. You catch a couple different expressions that flicker over her body language and her face. One is surprise that you'd noticed that you had asked that question. Then there's this momentary flare of you think what might be anger before it settles on something that looks kind of sad before she tries to hide it again behind a calm look. And she says, well, I suppose you could say I'm looking for something.
Um, and I think Layla feels like she's pushed that enough, so she's just gonna nod. Unfortunately, Ellie is gonna be like, "Oh, anything in particular? Can we help?"
Um, okay. Now I'm going to roll something for Caitlin really quick. She, just because this is something that she would do on this particular topic.
Yeah, I will mention. Oh no. um,
Well, that was supposed to be a quick little perception because she was going to be basically looking around to see if anyone was listening in on their conversation. With a three, as far as she can tell, they are the only ones in the room.
yeah, yeah. Also, that I will mention after Ellie asked that there was like a pause and then a what like between where Ellie like sort of directs at Layla, and Layla just like slaps her hand over her face.
Okay. So, as far as Caitlin can see, there is no one around them. And then, okay, good. You pull out the thing that you were intending to pull out. She reaches into her hammer space and says very quietly, I would appreciate it if you didn't mention this very loudly, but I was looking for information that has to do with some thefts that occurred in Nefli. And she pulls out what looks like a little manila folder, and she says very calmly, "A few places were robbed, and no one's ever caught the culprits. And the only conclusion I've been able to come to is that there was someone outside of Nefli. So I've been trying to find hints because they stole something that you can't just replace." And she kind of lifts the folder and shifts it just enough so that you can kind of see that it's full of newspaper articles. But she doesn't really. You'd have to roll perception to get a look at it before she to either get a look at it to stop her or to actually see what the articles are about before she slides it back in her hammer space.
Yeah, I think Lola had gotten up at that point to sort of like come closer to, partly to see better and partly because this is a more private conversation. So I think I will roll a perception for the both of them. Well, I think Layla was too far away because that was a 2.
You know what? For the sake of the FPS, I will allow you to roll it again
Thank
because
you.
she is looking. She is looking. This isn't just a perception of the room. This is perception for a thing you are being shown.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, I'll roll again. Thank you. Oh, that's a lot better. Alright, Ellie got a 13 with no modifiers, but Layla got a 17 plus 2, so that's a 19.
Oh wow. Yeah. For Ellie, they are newspapers for what looks like the local paper that are reporting about something in a major area in the city being stolen. You can't see what exactly it was, but it's definitely a big headline of mass robbery of X location. And it doesn't quite, you don't quite see enough to see the full title of where it is. For Layla, it's mass robbery of one of the graveyards.
Oh. Oh, come on,
This
just
is
go.
a this is a report of theft from one of the graveyards in the city, a major theft of, well, the only thing there really is to steal from a cemetery. And yeah, it's definitely something that you couldn't just replace, and you would have to go looking to find.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Layla doesn't like that. But, she is sort of filing that away. I think, I think that, like, she might, she might she doesn't want to break Caitlin's trust at all, but she might like let her parents know just to keep an eye out if any of their work comes across something like that because you know I mean yeah.
Yeah, she's probably about to cover it with what she's going to say next, which is, it's not really a secret that this kind of thing happened. If anything, the thing that's been concerning me is the fact that not a lot of people outside of Nefli know it happened. So I've been looking and I've been hoping to find something that can help me find what was taken.
I don't have any guarantee it'll work, but we could tell our parents to keep an eye out while they do their work if it's something that might turn up in a place like that.
Hmm. Considering history, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to mention it, if only so someone can keep an eye out for something being left in a place it didn't belong in. And like I said, these are things that you can't just replace. So it's just as much about finding closure as anything else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, I'm sorry that that happened.
I am too. That's why I'm looking.
That's
She's a bit more quieter, and a more humorous nugget that I'm going to throw in is that the books, if neither of them had noticed before, the books she was reading were mystery novels. So you kind of get the impression that she enjoys mysteries just as much as she's out trying to solve one.
that's really cool. Ellie's gonna sort of scrunch her nose and that's so weird. Like trying to keep her voice a little bit quieter. Why would anyone steal that?
She didn't actually see what it was though, because Layla
No,
was the one who saw.
no, she did
She's like,
not. But that's not well, that's a secret I have on my end.
I don't know. I can think of some reasons why someone would do something like that. But what bothers me the most is that usually those swords don't keep things quiet for long. And it's been over 2 years now, and no one's. She makes a vague gesture with her hand. Gotten any information? It's. I hate to say it, but it's too quiet for something like this. So the standards, and she kind of makes air quotes at that, say that usually something like that gets found out pretty quickly around here. The fact that it hasn't says that it's not one of those things. It just makes the whole thing even more confusing.
It's a conspiracy. It's a big one. Ellie looks way too excited about this.
She kind of nods and says, That's what my friend, that's what Monty thinks. And as much of a headache as he is, I was really, really hoping he'd be wrong.
Do you think you're gonna like bust a huge underground organization? Can I help?
She giggles a little and goes, If it turns out that is it, I will definitely be calling for backup. In fact, I may send a missive to the entire treehouse.
Well, if that happens, we'll be there, or we'll try to be there, because that sounds so cool. And I mean, you're strong and cool, and it would be really cool to work with you again.
I. She actually looks kind of bashful at that. You have just complimented her. Because I appreciate that. I would love to work with you again too. I bet. Mm, mm. And she kind of, I don't know if I've already said this, but she slipped it away, but she pauses like she's almost considering pulling something else out before she kind of just lets her paw drop.
Fair enough. I think I think Layla has sort of felt like she's pushed that boundary a little bit enough for today. Um, don't want to push your luck kind of thing. Uh,
Yeah.
Ellie is sort of like been again pulled on a tangent of hopefully one that's better than our last one because that was not fun.
And Caitlin wishes winces slightly because she's just remembered the last one that she's on, which I've decided that she has had one. There is this is I've decided just now that this is post hunting party, in which case, yeah, yeah. She'd like to have one that ends in just plain old fun. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I you're welcome to roll insight on them again, because the topic of their last one came up, and because Caitlin caught enough that there was something wrong. Yeah.
The kitty sees.
Nice.
How much
Yeah.
does the kitty see?
Yeah, I'm rolling another deception again, so we'll see. Oh, hey. Both of those were a lot worse than before.
Yeah, Caitlin did better and they did worse. Yay, the kitty is starting to know them.
Yep,
Sorry.
definitely. Alright, give me a second, to put these in the chat and then I can explain a little of what she sees. Deception. Okay, yeah, so that's an 8 and a 13. The 8 was from Ellie and the 13 was from Layla. And that's definitely, both of those are lower than the 16 that Caitlin rolled. So the first thing is that I will give you a little bit of insight on how Ellie and Layla work when it comes to deception. Where Ellie is extremely expressive, and so like when she is deceptive, it's usually by being like the like her expression and stuff sort of like matching um not not matching what she's feeling. So in this case, like before, she didn't really bat an eye and was just still like bright, but this time she definitely like it slips, and there is a lot more like um a lot more of her real emotions about what happened on her face before it she sort of shakes herself off. Whereas Layla is generally like pretty impassive most of the time. She doesn't really have like big changes in expression. So if you don't know her well, then you just probably think that her expression is neutral all the time. But there are like very subtle changes in her expression that if you know her, you can read better. Um, and what Caitlin's getting from that is that that really did shake them up and kind of scare them, and that Ellie feels worse about it than Layla does.
Oof. Yeah. I reiterate, it's good to take measures to keep things from happening. Even if you don't quite know where to start looking, it's good to at least try and find something.
Yeah, it. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Um,
And yeah, Ellie sort of smiles again, and
so thanks. I we appreciate it.
Mm. She kind of nods, like, good, like, good. I'm good. It's good I was able to give advice that was helpful. I'm pleased with that. Sorry.
yeah, I do think Ellie might like sort of put her arms around herself a little bit, and I don't I don't want to ever go through that something like that again.
I don't think anyone would, not unless they were crazy. And you don't strike me as crazy.
Oh, I don't know. I get told I can be pretty crazy sometimes, but maybe not that sort of crazy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, um, I I don't know where to go from here now. We've hit a lot of good bases.
We have, and this might be a fairly decent place to leave off. I have an idea maybe of like a way to sort of um like tie things up. Because has Caitlin had much of a chance to like explore the treehouse?
At this point, she's probably done a little bit of exploring, but not a whole heck of a lot. Like, she hasn't seen every corner of the place yet.
Uh, yeah, fair enough. Then in that case, I think Ellie's gonna like if the silence drags out for too long, Ellie's gonna like perk up again and then be like, "Oh, I know, I know. Have you seen much of the treehouse yet?"
Well, I've seen a fair bit. I've done a little bit of running around with Mad Lad,
Oh, oh,
but
I know.
not huge.
You need to see all of it. We can give you a tour. Come on, come on. She's just gonna like she's getting in your personal space and she's like, yes, come on, come on. I'm going to give you the best tour of the treehouse ever. You're going to know the ins and out of this place exactly.
And I think Caitlin's going to go along with it because they've dipped into some sadder topics. So yeah, tour by excitable teenager. Let's do that instead. Let's chase some of this gloom away.
Yeah, and that had been sort of exactly like Ellie does not like being um down for long. So she's definitely been like this is a very deliberate effort on her part, but hey, that's also like she also gets to show the treehouse to someone who hasn't seen it yet, so that's pretty exciting.
All right, then I guess that's where we stop it. Away
Yeah.
they go. Caitlin getting tugged along, probably by her paw. She's probably rescued her books under one arm, has slid them into her hammer space.
Yeah, I think it's Ellie has taken Caitlin by one hand and has taken Layla by the other and is dragging both of them along on this tour.
Yep, off they go. Da-da-da.
Yeah. That's a nice place to fade out, I think.
All right.
Hmm. Well, thank you for this. Thanks for playing with me. I had fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And hey, we got to touch on some of Caitlin's lore because my girls apparently very nosy.
It's good. This is the second time that's part of it's being able to be unearthed because Mad Lad unearthed some too. He didn't get all of the little clues in the way they pieced together, but he did get some.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mad Lad's also very nosy.
She is trying very, very hard to get that boy to go talk to a therapist. But it's taking some work because
Yeah.
he is a small boy.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that not not EGAD stuff, I am aware of some of the stuff that is going on with Mad Lad. I could also understand why that would be something that he doesn't want. But it's hopefully being worked on. Hopefully he can go to therapy sooner rather than later.
Worst comes to worst, she's going to abduct him and just present him to Mama Tia because Mama Tia is a licensed therapist in addition to being the matron of the orphanage.
That's
It's like,
excellent.
I will abduct this child and present him to her.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, he needs hugs. He definitely needs hugs. And Mama Tia sounds very excellent and warm and lovely.
She is. She is. That's exactly what I made her to be.
Oh, now I want a hug from her. Or I want my characters to get hugs from her.
Well, if I do end up actually doing a game in Nepli, I will probably leave it open to anyone in any server. So yeah, they may have the opportunity to do just that.
That would be very cool. I will be very excited to either play or listen to that game if it ever happens.
Yeah, I will do my best. But I think that's a good sign off point.
Yep.
I should probably get back to my tea before it has a chance to get too cold for me neglecting it because I'm
Yep.
having fun talking.
Yeah, I need to stop my recording. I'm just gonna say bye to anyone who listens to this in the future. Thanks for listening. Hope you had fun. Bye.